What's up, everyone? John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here. Last week was a disastrous one for Apple. The company's value fell almost 13%, and the process they plummeted from being the most valuable company in the world to the second most valuable company in the world. In second place is never too bad. We're talking about losing almost 20% of your value in the span of a week. Things can get disastrous. So I want to tell you what I think Apple can do to improve their market share and their mind share and regain some of their lost luster. So real quick business background on what happened. Apple, as any publicly traded company in the US has to do, release quarterly earnings, and they missed estimates. They still put out about $350-ish billion of profits, but it wasn't what people expected, and their stock fell almost 60 points or $60 depending on how you want to look at it. It was absolutely disastrous for the company, losing 20% of their book value really in just about 48 hours. But it's a smaller part of a larger story. Apple's been losing mind share and market share for the better part of the past 14 months. We've really seen Samsung lead that charge and the Android assault. So what does Apple have to do to regain their lost market share? Well, first, there are multiple Android phones on multiple carriers and multiple price points. Apple is currently offering, at least from the phone standpoint, one phone. It's the iPhone 5. They've got older models that are available as well. But it's one phone on one carrier at the same price. Apple's being attacked from all angles, but they're only fighting straight ahead. So if Apple is interested in competing and regaining that lost market share, at least from a device standpoint, they either need to compete at the left end of the bell curve or the right end of the bell curve. They need to be at the low end of the price point or the complete high end of the price point. Right now, they're sort of on the higher-ish end. They need a lower-end entry phone that's unique and that's new, that's not just a rehash of last year's model. Now, they might not get the performance, they might not get the user experience that they've had in the past, but that's what people are looking for that lower-end price. They can get into the smartphone world, and most importantly, once they get an Apple device, even if it's at a lower price, they're going to start buying apps, and that's really Apple's secret sauce. You know, take the hardware, but buy all of our applications. They make a killing from the App Store. That thing is literally printing money. But the big story here is less of a hardware, it's more of the software standpoint. Since 2007, iOS has not really changed that much. It has become extremely stale. The icon's still the same, you interact with it the same, you can now create folders, you can move icons around, and of course we have the App Store. But things just haven't evolved. You don't have any way of quickly viewing information. You don't have any sort of live tile equivalent or widget equivalent or anything along those lines. In order to get the information, you have to look inside of an application. If you want to see what notification is, you have to go inside of an application. There's Notification Center you can pull down, but you only get just a smidgen of information there. The operating systems in particular that have been attacking iOS, so Android, and even BlackBerry 10 coming on and Windows Phone have evolved. Google's been really good about pushing out updates every 3 or 4 months, which I know for the consumer it's disappointing because your phone's not always going to get it, but they do bring new features, they streamline the experience, and Apple has not been doing that. Releasing a new phone every 8 to 10 months, incremental software upgrades has been really detrimental to the company. Now we're seeing Johnny Ive take over iOS, and I'm really hopeful that the next version of iOS, iOS 7, is going to be a complete rethinking of what iOS can do. You can release tablets of different sizes, you can use last year's specs for an iPad mini, but what really is going to differentiate the product is the user experience, and Apple used to excel at that. In 2007, what the iPhone did was absolutely incredible. It was even impossible to imagine you could open up photos with your fingers and pinch to zoom and scroll from left to right. You had the whole browser in your pocket. But now everything has that, and Apple hasn't brought anything new to the table. They ushered in the app world, absolutely. But again, what have you done for me lately? A company's not going to make money based on innovation they had in 2007, 2009. They're going to make money based on innovation that they have now. So I'm challenging Apple, please update iOS. Make it something new and fresh. Push the envelope. Do what you used to be good at. And when you are successful, Apple, it's making Android better. It forces Google to be better. It's going to force RIM and Microsoft to improve and step up their games. So Apple, please bring some updated software, bring some updated hardware, and let's go ahead and get back to where we once were. Do you guys agree, disagree? What do you think Apple needs to do? Try and keep the comments civil. Anytime we mention Apple or Android, they always erupt in a huge flame war. From a business standpoint, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo. See you next video.